Do eggs raise blood cholesterol? Should you avoid eggs and other fattier foods if you want to be healthy? And is eating all of this fat actually unhealthy for you? That's what we're going to cover in this video. What's up, everybody? This is Coach Amir from 7figurebody.com, and in today's video we're going to talk about, is it healthy to eat eggs? Do eggs actually raise blood cholesterol? Is it unhealthy for you? So before we go, guys, please let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are eggs actually unhealthy, or is any other fatty foods unhealthy, like salmon, like steak, red meat? Is that actually unhealthy for you? Is that going to raise your blood cholesterol levels? So let me know what you think. I'm really interested in seeing what you guys think before watching this video, okay? So also, if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button below, because on this channel, you're gonna learn how to get in the absolute best shape of your life ever, so that you can be one of those, 1 in a million entrepreneurs who's not only successful, but also healthy, looks and feels and performs at the highest level. So click that subscribe button right now. Alrighty, guys, so without further ado, let's talk about if eating eggs is actually negatively affecting your blood cholesterol. It's going to raise it. And the short answer is no, it will not. Okay? Eggs are not unhealthy, and eating whole foods based fats, it is not unhealthy. Now, how can this be? We've been told for, I don't know how many decades, 3-4 decades now, since the early 80s, that, oh, fat is horrible for you. We should not eat fat. It is very, very unhealthy. Well, the truth is, this is not only not true, but the opposite is true. Healthy fats are healthy generally to consume, but of course, as always, context is what matters here. It depends. It's not like, somebody who's morbidly obese versus a professional athlete versus somebody in the middle. It's not the same if they consume the same amount of fat. It's not going to be digested, nor is it going to have the same health effects on each of these individuals. The same. It's going to be absolutely different, okay? So let's talk about these differences, because context is king, okay? So studies have now shown that the actual amount of body fat and cholesterol that you consume through, let's say, eating 3, 4, whatever eggs per day, is absolutely going to minimally, if at all, affect your blood cholesterol level. How? Well, simply because liver is the organ in your body that actually handles the cholesterol level in your blood. So if you eat more, like let's say you have 4 or 5 eggs per day, every single day, like I do for the last 15 plus years, your liver says, okay, there's this cholesterol coming, I'm just gonna produce less, and it controls the amount. And vice versa. Let's say we have a vegan who has extremely low fat diet because they think, animal products are unhealthy and bad. So they have low cholesterol intake. Now the liver says, hey, I don't really have any, I'm not getting enough, so it has to produce more. And it just still keeps it at a very, very, very tight range. Now, of course, the $1 million question that you probably are asking, wait, but if that is true, how come whatever ungodly number of millions of people actually have high blood cholesterol? Well, the reason is because if you look at 80% of adults are overweight. And the number one reason for somebody's blood cholesterol to be elevated is being overweight. Just like for most things that are unhealthy, or rather that people have issues with their health, they come from people being sedentary, having terrible diets, and being overweight to begin with. This is the main reason that somebody's blood cholesterol goes up, because they're eating too many calories. The surplus of calories is more than the body can actually properly handle. Now remember, it all ends up in the liver, where liver is basically like a chemical lab of your body that digests and converts fats. But if you're eating way too much overall food, the liver simply can't, it just has a certain amount that it can produce or digest, let's say this much, but you constantly give it in way more. So all of this fat and total calories that are coming is more than the body can handle, and this basically, your liver actually has fat in there more than it should be, and this is called fatty liver disease. It's an actual disease. So it's, this is a very, very unhealthy state to be in, and this is one of the many reasons why blood cholesterol as well ends up being too high. Now, number one thing that you can do, obviously, is lose body fat. So if you want to know how to do that, in the description of this video below, I show you, you can, for absolutely free, watch the video where I show you the 3 steps that I take. Every entrepreneur for the last 14 years, I've helped transform 1,150 entrepreneurs so far. I used, and by the way, me going from fat kid to a pro athlete and Olympic Games candidate to a coach, I use the same exact 3-step process that I use today. Of course, it's always customized for each person, but it's the same exact 3-step process to transform anybody. Like I could, right now, if you and I started to work together tomorrow, 3 to 4 months from now, 5, depending on how much body fat you have to lose, you would be a completely different person. You would be six-pack lean, best shape of your life, guaranteed. How can I say that? Simply because it's based on never-changing laws of human physiology and psychology, and the summary of that is in that video. So please click that below and watch the 3 steps to get ripped so you can use it for yourself, okay? Now, going back to cholesterol, remember, studies have shown that 1 to 3% is an actual impact of your cholesterol level on your, cholesterol intake on your blood cholesterol levels. Why? Again, because liver controls it. Now, there are 2 exceptions to this, and they're both genetic predispositions. As you guys know, we can pretty much change anything around your body when it comes to how much muscle you build within the genetic, within the genetic limits, and also how lean you get. We can get you as lean as you want. I always say every single one of you can absolutely get six-pack lean. Of course, most people don't believe that's even possible because they've never been there, and things that we haven't done we think are, oh, I don't know. But it's just like $1 million. The first time you make $1 million, the only way to do that is if you believe that you can do it and you work on it, because we know that people can go from broke to a millionaire, from overweight to being in extremely great shape. This is all absolutely possible for every single one of you. So if you think about what is the process behind it, remember that getting really lean is the #1 thing that you can do to improve your health and lower your blood cholesterol level. As I said, 2 exceptions to that are genetically predisposed. Nothing we can do. Genes, we can't change. Sorry, but we don't do magic here. We can't change your genes. There are 2 things. One called familiar hypercholesterolemia, something like that. It's a mouthful, but it's basically a genetically compromised system in the body that handles cholesterol. If you have that, which is, I don't know what that is, 8% of the population or something has it, maybe even less. So unlikely that you have it. If you do, in that case, you probably need to moderate your cholesterol intake, yes. The other one is a specific version of a gene, APO4 gene, something like that, is basically also a genetically predisposed condition. And by the way, if you have any of these, you would probably know, simply because even if you are in a great shape, body fat percentage is in ideal range. So for men, 10 to 15%, for women, 20 to 25%. You are active, your diet is okay, you're working out, and you're doing all this, still your blood cholesterol is high. This is certainly possible. I've had a bunch of clients who are, not a lot, but like a certain percentage that are in that range. They're in awesome, shape and everything is great. Still their cholesterol is elevated. This is genetic. In that case, you're probably gonna have to be on medications for the rest of your life. It's just how it is. But remember, before jumping on medication, like every doctor will tell you, oh, you have high blood cholesterol, no problem, here's the medicine. The first most important thing you should do is get in great shape. Lose weight and get in great shape. See if your blood cholesterol goes down. It very likely will. Now, of course, even if you are predisposed to having high cholesterol, by being overweight, it just goes higher and higher and higher, and that proportionally increases all of your risk of cardiovascular diseases, heart attacks, strokes, and everything else. So, guys, remember, it is absolutely safe to eat eggs and other fatty foods. But also another thing that I want you to think about is when somebody's overweight, just by being overweight, your body is constantly in inflamed state, meaning inflammation is high, and therefore eating a lot of fat when somebody is overweight is also not a good idea, because these fats and fatty acids from that food can easily be converted into something called free radicals, which basically is very bad and unhealthy for you. Let's just put it there to not go deeper in, to not bore you with the science of free radicals and all of this. But basically, these fats get oxidated very easily. And in short, it is not a good idea if somebody is very overweight to eat a lot of fat. But more important than that is the total number of calories that you consume. I always say this is king. Your total calories are king, because even if you are in a deficit of calories but eating a lot of fat, it's still good for you, because you're going to be losing a lot of body fat, right? Because you're losing weight, and that's going to improve your blood cholesterol levels as well. So of course, for somebody who is, let's say, moderately lean, moderately active, like a normal average health person, for them it's totally fine to have even a good amount of fat in their diet. And actually, there's now a famous study of these, I think, professional cyclists who are eating 40% of their total daily calories from saturated fat. You probably heard that saturated fat is bad for you. And the thing is, especially saturated fats are very prone to this oxidation. So you really need to kind of monitor that if you're very overweight, because Being overweight, again, very inflammatory, which means these fatty acids get oxidated easily. But for very active people, so for these professional cyclists in this study, absolutely did not worsen any of their health parameters. They were all perfect, even after eating 40% of their total calories coming from saturated fat, which is unheard of. It's really, really high. Nobody probably eats that way unless somebody's just eating junk food all day long. Probably 40% of your calories are not coming from saturated fat. Well, for somebody who's very active and lean, even that did not cause any issues whatsoever. So it all depends on where you are right now when it comes to body fat level and your activity level, right? So if somebody's really sedentary, this doesn't do anything, yeah, all of these things get harder and worse. On the other hand, if somebody's active and lean, you can pretty much have a huge amount of fat, and even saturated fat, it's not gonna do anything bad for you. So remember that next time when somebody tells you, especially a vegan, telling you that, oh, cholesterol is horrible for you, it's absolutely not. And also remember that cholesterol literally produces sex hormones, which is the reason why most vegans have low testosterone. Vegan men have low testosterone. Why? Because they're not eating enough saturated fat that produces testosterone to begin with. So that's why, absolutely horrible idea. I'm gonna do a video about veganism, and you can actually click here to watch that video about veganism. Why is it good or bad, and actually, what's the truth behind it? So that's it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click that like button below, and if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, because this is the channel when you're gonna get an absolute, no BS truth about what it actually takes to go from wherever you are now to the best shape of your life, whether it be being six-pack lean or just being in a like 15% body fat, normal weight, if you will, but your health, performance, energy, all being at an absolute best possible way. So thank you guys for watching. See you next time.